Usyk came up from cruiserweight, great fighter, 12-round fighter. I wanted to box with him for 12 rounds and show, because there was always this stigma is that I can't box. I'm a big, stiff bodybuilder. So I said, all right, cool, let me practice my boxing. Try practice my boxing with Usyk. It didn't go with the decision. He won 9 rounds, I won 3. Next fight, I win, 4 more rounds, I win. So let me simplify that matter, and I'll then get on the road to being undisputed champion again.
What's good, family? Obviously, a big shout out, special mention to my doggy, Devil Dog 83, for spamming that donation thing. Yeah, so big selector, big respect, General, no doubt. Moving on to today's topic. We just heard there from Mr. Anthony Mandela Gandhi Dalai Lama Johnston, and it's bad right now if you're an Anthony Johnston fan. That's for sure. This dude, I kid you not, I had to get a new laptop the other day because mine broke, and obviously it's nice and clean, but after having to watch that video, I had to clean the screen because of the amount of zest that was on there, the amount of zest that had precipitated out of the, you know what I'm saying, one of them ones, through the Wi-Fi. Too much zest, way too zesty, this cat. And again, I'd love to come on here, and there's, like, for example, in the next few weeks, you'll see a video from me. I have seen a few, not a few, I've seen one good sign, or not even a good sign, I've seen one standard thing I expect to see. Yeah, so this has nothing to do, YB loves to jump on Johnston. YB loves to, ever since Usyk had a go on Johnston, now YB can't stop having a go on him. No, nothing to do with that. Yeah? I'd love to not, you man, for 2 years, you man got it twisted, thinking, YB's an AJ super fan girl. I told you, this so happened, it just so happened for 2 years, Johnston was doing more or less everything on point. Yeah, he was calling out Tyson Fury, he was calling out Deontay Wilder, he was making offers that made no sense, i.e. offering 50-50 offers to men with no belts. Yeah? At the time he was undefeated, he was the cash cow. Also, all these things that happened over the last 2 years, or obviously not in the last year, but you know what I mean, through that period, that 2018, 2019 period, 2017, 2018, 2019 period, he was the guy. Yeah? Nothing to do with bias, just what it was. Now, fast forward to 2021, and unfortunately, people, nothing to do with my biases. If Johnston was on point, I'll be telling you he's on point. Right now, I don't know what's got into this zesty dude. I think he's been cloned, truth be known. I don't know what it is. He's been cloned, most likely, if I was to bet. This ain't the same guy. I don't care what no one says. This ain't the same guy that went in there with Dillian Shite. Yeah, this is not the same man that went in there and left Shillian Shite slumped on the ropes. Not the same guy. This guy is what you call funny style. Yeah? All the way funny style. And I'm going to tell you why. So let's take it from a jump. At the start of this clip, you hear him explain what went wrong. He goes, Usyk came up from cruiserweight, so Tyson Fury's been bullying me all my career, so I thought that I'd box the cruiserweight, and what's wrong with AJ? Why is your mental? Why is your character so soft? What do you care about a dude with chicken legs? You know what I'm saying? A big, soft, skinny-looking dude, big, tall, fat, skinny. You know what I'm saying? Tall, skinny, skinny, fat-looking dude with no legs, calling you a bodybuilder. If I was in your camp, do you know what we'd have said? We'd have said, yeah, you're damn right, we're a bodybuilder. Yeah, and we're gonna bodybuild you all the way up. How about that? What's with this thing? So wait there, someone criticises you, and you think, let me become what they want me to become. And you got to remember as well, at that point in time, AJ was perceived to be everything Tyson Fury really wasn't, i.e. Fury's win over Vladimir Klitschko was boring. AJ had the exciting one. AJ had done what no man had ever done before, and that is stop the new improved Klitschko. No one has ever stopped the new improved Klitschko. AJ was the man to do that, and he did that by being a bodybuilder as such, someone powerful. And I'm confused because you'd think if Anthony Johnston had the right people around him, he should have been being told, listen, I don't know what planet Tyson Fury is on, but that's his job. His job is to make out what he's doing is the right way, which at the time Tyson Fury was running around. So of course he's going to say, oh yeah, Anthony Johnston, just a brawler, he ain't got no skills. That's what he has to say. It's a bit like Floyd Mayweather. people with no power, they have to sell their way of doing it because they haven't got no other choice. Now, as it happens, look at Tyson Fury now. Tyson Fury shows that, or has shown, the true way of fighting. So all them years he was slagging you off, now he's doing what you should be doing, but unfortunately he's now doing it better than you are. Oops. So whilst you was sitting there reading into what he was saying, he's gone away, and he's, you know what I'm saying, he's better at you, he's beat you at your own game now. He's beat you at the bodybuilding, powerful brawler game. Oops. Because guess what, whilst you was focusing on what he was saying, he was focusing on on what he was doing. Yeah, and changing his style. But yet you're sitting here, oh, but he called me a bodybuilder, so that means I have to go and run around with a cruiserweight. What is wrong with you? You've seriously got, I guarantee you, yeah, there's not one man in your camp with character. Because if there was, they'd have clapped you upside your head, clipped you on the ear, and said, fix up. You should have been reveling in them words. I mean, and like I was saying, again, who are these funny style dudes around Mr. Johnston? Why do I say that? Well, if my fighter came to me and said, well, we've had all this success doing it a certain way, but Tyson Fury called me a bodybuilder, so let's prove to the world we can become the most boring and or the most losing fighter in the world, because all you're doing is losing. All you're doing is having 50-50 fights. I don't get it. You went from knocking everyone out and dominating everyone to going 50-50 with cruiserweights. What's pretty about that? You know what I'm saying? Who wants to watch that? I don't understand it. You became the cash cow by knocking people out in furious fashion. But yet, because Tyson Fury put a few videos out hating because he couldn't do what you was doing, you wanna, it's mad. It's weird. It's madness. And when you think about the history of the sport as well, what do we know about the history of boxing? Who's been the biggest star of all time, arguably? Mike Tyson. Was Mike Tyson known as someone who ran around? Did anyone come to Mike Tyson and tell him, oh, or in his prime, oh, you're just a brawler who's no good? You should learn to run around more. No. Do you know why that was the case? Do you know why Mike Tyson in his prime was firm? Because he had firm people around him. Customato, Kevin Rooney, even Teddy Atlas at the time. Yeah? These are solid individuals who know the vision. They know the plan and they stick to it. And I'm not being funny, but Mike Tyson, emotionally speaking and psychologically speaking, is actually very weak, if that makes sense. Yeah, he's proven he's not the most stable individual, which is actually a testament to Customato and to Kevin Rooney and whatnot. It's a testament that they were able, through their discipline, through their coaching, to take a man who's very psychologically unstable after years of abuses of different kinds through his upbringing and make him into one of the most consistent. Because when Mike Tyson was in his prime, yeah, and in the gym, he was one of the most consistent fighters in the history of the sport. You knew exactly what you was getting every time. His skills were 10 or 9 out of 10, and they were consistently 9 out of 10. You didn't see Mike Tyson fighting this way one day and fighting another way the other day. That's because of his environment and his training. Johnston, he doesn't know what he's doing, which sums up why he has 20 trainers, and the worst thing is, of them 20 trainers, none of them know what they're doing. That's a fact. And the fact that all 20 of them are happy just to have a little piece shows you how they have no character. Because people with character would tell you, listen, it's me, it's my way or the highway. Why do they say that? Because they know it doesn't work no other way. If it worked with 20 different men in, you know what I mean? If 20 was better than one, everyone would do it that way. I mean, I'm not being funny, but look at even Floyd Mayweather. When Floyd Mayweather was training with Roger Mayweather, yeah, his dad came back. His dad came back and said, "Oh, I'm back from De La Hoya's camp now," and he was knocking around. And Floyd told him, "Listen, there can only be one voice in the corner," and he told his dad to leave. So even Floyd appreciated that. And by the way, Floyd had 2 great minds in his camp, or Floyd could have had 2 great minds in his camp, his dad and Roger. He realised it can't work. You can't have 2 leaders of the ship. And to be fair to Floyd and Roger, they both had enough. They both had enough dominance in their own characters not to accept any less. And Floyd Mayweather being someone full of pride, Floyd Mayweather Senior, being someone full of pride, he left the camp. He believed he should have been the main trainer. And in the end, he ended up being that. But you know what I'm saying? That's what you're supposed to do as a man. But all these men who are really females, like Fernando Alonso, like Jobber Clayton, like Rob McCracken, they're just essentially kept women. Yeah? That's what they are. They're sitting around collecting a check because it's convenient. A real man says, nah man, that's not going to work for me. I've got the master plan. And if it can't be only me, it won't be me at all. Just like Shane McGuigan said. Shane McGuigan said, it's going to be me, or it ain't going to be me at all. It's not going to be me and this guy and that guy and 50 other man. And unfortunately, I've been saying this for the longest, but all the AJ fans, yeah, but YB, you know, he's got this special style from the 70s. He's been working with his style out of the cronk and... oops. Yeah, but YB, AJ had to adapt his style because the other style wasn't what? The other style wasn't what? You man think in heavyweight boxing there's a way to get through fights without getting hit. And I've never seen that way. I've never seen anyone. I mean, look at Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis, at 38 years old, had his hardest fight. And he had the best trainer in his corner. Yeah? He was battered to pieces. And Lennox Lewis was arguably one of the best fighters ever, technically speaking. So what is this? What is this you think you're chasing? I had people telling me, YB, you're wrong. AJ had to run around the place. He couldn't have doubled down and become more efficient and more effective at being a slayer. Because he was taking too much damage, was he? I've never actually seen AJ get pummeled, truth be known. When you think about Klitschko versus Lewis, when you think about all the fights through history, I've never seen AJ really in one of them fights. Even the Ruiz loss, he wasn't really pummeled, was he? His face wasn't mushed all over the place. He wasn't cut to shreds. Why wasn't he? Because Ruiz isn't actually a big puncher. He doesn't actually thud. That's why Johnston didn't go out cold. And that's why he wasn't battered and bruised from pillar to post. And even then, that's one fight. So wait there. You had a half, I wouldn't even call it, AJ's never had a legendary hard fight in his career. The Klitschko fight wasn't legendary hard. The Ruiz fight wasn't legendary hard. They were what I call standard heavyweight fights. That's what you should expect to be in. At this level. Don't forget, we're not talking about British Championship level. We're talking about undisputed, unified level. And I believe in a unified level championship, this is standard punishment. The problem is, in 2021, fighters have got into the habit, because men in general these days are so weak, yeah, most competition just turn up and fall on the floor. So, when it's anything different than that, they think it's something wrong. When they meet up with a man who actually wants it as much as them, they think it's a problem. Oh, it shouldn't be this hard, AJ told Rob after the Klitschko fight. Oh, it shouldn't be that hard. Why shouldn't it be that hard? You've got two highly trained, undisputed level champions in the ring who both want it more than anything. How is that not going to be hard, people? I don't get that. Who told you it's not going to be hard? What, Floyd Mayweather. And Floyd Mayweather, to be fair to him, number one, he's not a heavyweight, that's the first thing. But number two, he's exceptionally gifted at being able to nick his way through fights. Johnston, you haven't got the IQ for that, bottom line, and you haven't got the tutelage for it either. You're not going to be a Floyd. Let's get rid of that notion. Everyone seems to think, oh, but maybe if I can do it like Floyd, I can make $500 million and rarely get hit. Well, you ain't that guy. And I've been saying you ain't that guy. But these AJ fangirls seem to think he's super duper high IQ. He's not. He's got basic... He had basic brawling skills. Yeah? I've been saying for the longest, even his brawling skills weren't that finessed. He hadn't even mastered that game yet, before he thinks he's going to become a super duper slick boxer. And now all he's done is learn how to disengage and run around. That's it. He knows now how to jab and then dance off. That's it. He hasn't really learnt any high level skills. And that proved that in the Usyk fight. And that brings you back to the original point here. Fury called me a bodybuilder and I wanted to prove I could box. So I went in there with Usyk and I lost. And listen, AJ, let me tell you something now as well. This is another AJ's been telling this fallacy for a long time. People who've been following Anthony Johnston will know that I've heard him say this a few times now. For example, before the Pulev fight, he said, because don't forget, after the Ruiz 2, yeah, AJ had a bit of backlash from people like myself. We said, why are you running around from a big Margin Boo, bubbly looking dude? It's embarrassing, honestly. It's embarrassing to see a dude who looks like he's Africanulese and he's in there scared to death. That's a fact, people. Anthony Johnston was scared to death to get touched from Ruiz. Yeah? AJ's mandate for that fight was, do not get touched, no matter what. And he ran in there. I've never seen a man so scared of for his life in my life. Never seen anything like it at heavyweight. Where's the pride? Where's the ego? I don't know about you yet, but wouldn't you rather losing being true to yourself? I'm going to go in there and I'm going to bet on myself. If I lose betting on myself, so be it. He was the better man. But when you go in there and you shit yourself, who wants to watch that? When you're 60 years old and you sit back and think, wow, I shit my pants for them 12 rounds. Don't get me wrong. The 20 funny style man around you, like Fernando Alonso, will love it. Oh, you was wicked that night. No, you weren't. The people know what you was, and you shit your pants. That's a fact. I don't want to hear no more about it. About skills. You shit your pants. That's it. Yeah? And you ran around from a man who had no power. From a man who's been proven to have no power. And from a man who went on to get schooled by a 40-year-old, Chris Arreola. Chris Arreola put the man down. Wow. And Chris Arreola isn't some big athlete. He was 40 years old and was never a puncher. And he showed what you should have done. And God works in different ways. And that really for me was an eye-opener. Because even me, the way you was scared of Andy Ruiz, yeah, even I gave Ruiz way too much credit. I thought, wow, if he loses weight, he could be like Mike Tyson. 2-2s. Chris Arreola, 40 years old, who was never no good really, went in there. And he knocked Ruiz down and didn't get knocked down himself. And it was a brawl. Which proved everything I knew to be true initially. Ruiz ain't all that. You made him look like a demon. But what does that say about you? It shows that you're weak in the character. That's what it shows. And for what all we say about Deontay Wilder, yeah? Deontay Wilder, I don't think he has that much power, but still. Fury went in there and, despite being put down twice, went in there in the rematch, having 6-7 weeks with a real trainer, was able to convince himself. Because Tyson Fury has proven now he has a strong character, or a relatively strong character, he went in there and walked through the fire. Johnston has never proven that. He proved he can run away from the fire. He proved he can fanny around with a cruiserweight. That's it. He's never really proven his character. Will he prove it in this rematch? I'm not betting on it. Yeah, you man can. You man can lose some more coins. I'm not. I'll believe it when I see it. Why? Well, this goes back to my point. People who have followed Johnston will know that he's made these comments before, yeah? Before the Pulev fight, after the Ruiz after the Ruiz rematch, when he got backlash for running around. AJ said before the Pulev fight, oh, I'm done with running around now because people want to see knockouts. And he went in there, and yes, he got the knockout, but people who really know boxing know it was a bad performance. It wasn't, I'm back on it now. It was, let me see if I can get something for nothing. He got lucky with that KO. He didn't earn it. He didn't break Pulev down. He kind of, yeah, you can see it for yourself. If you understand boxing, you'll know that was a scary performance. He was shook the whole way through it and got lucky against an old man. That's what happened. And I'm afraid to say, but the Usyk fight proves that. And again, before the Usyk fight, the key reason I put more money, I put coins down on AJ was because 24 hours before the fight, he came on the mic and started talking about, I'm going Kronk style, I'm going to knock this guy out. He was talking to the fans, chanting, what do we want? KOs. When do we want them? Now. That's what he was doing with the crowd, gassing everyone up. And he goes in there, and 5 minutes before the fight starts, he's in there asking, was it not Kevin Mitchell? What's the guy's name? He was asking Clifton Mitchell about his strategy, and it's like, what's wrong with this guy? I've never seen anything like it. He's like a lost child. And that's why I think he's been cloned. Because clones, they look the same in the body, but they don't have the same experience, obviously. You can clone at the atomic and cellular level, but you can't clone memories and whatnot. I think he's been cloned. I think it's like a 5-year-old in a 30-year-old body. He doesn't have the, like, why? How are you asking Clifton Mitchell about if your strategy's right? How do you not know your strategy's right after having had 6 months in camp? After having had 10 years experience in the sport? So this whole fallacy of, oh, yeah, Tyson Fury bullied me into changing my style, but I'm back now, it's back to KOs and whatnot. You said that a million times before, so I'm not buying that. I've heard that before, and I've seen you go in there and shit yourself again. Okay, and people who don't believe me, do your research. Watch the press conferences before the Usyk fight. He said it's Kronk style, it's back to KOs, and he went in there and I saw the opposite. So what's different now? We don't know. And I can't even sit here and tell you, well, at least he's got a new training team, or a new trainer who's a proper solid. I can't even tell you that. And that moves me on to my last point. The last point for this video, yeah? At the very end, and this for me is probably the most shocking statement. At the very end, he says, well, I went in there with Usyk. I went in there to box with Usyk because Tyson Fury said I was a bodybuilder. But, you know, I lost a 12-round decision against Usyk, but Usyk won 9 rounds and I won 3 rounds, so next time I only have to win 4 more rounds. Wow. Did you hear that? He said he won 3 rounds, and so that means he only has to win 4 more rounds next time. Now, I'm sure AJ superfans are really happy about that statement. Oh wow, YB, that means he's going to win 7, that means he'll win. Listen, I've told you before, this for me, yeah, has never been about winning in some marginal fashion. When I came on here and told you I believed AJ could be the greatest ever, yeah, it makes me look super duper stupid now. I have to own that, yeah? I look silly, but I do, not so much now, but I do believe back then, if I was in charge of his career, that would still be the case. But now, he's too dopey, he's too low IQ, he don't know what's good for him, yeah? He's too scary, and that's obviously not going to be the case now, but, this guy, talking about if I've only got to win for, again, this for me has never been about marginal. I don't care I'd rather him lose if he's not going to win how I want him to win. Bottom line. I even said that before the Ruiz rematch. I said I'd rather him lose if he's going to run around. Yeah, I'd rather him lose. Yeah, I don't want to watch a guy who I see with so much potential just nick fights because he's trying to be smart about things. I want to see someone go in there and take their potential. If, for example, I believed at one point in time AJ had the potential to knock all these guys out. Why? Because they ain't even that all good, I don't think. I really don't. I don't rate these guys. And really, when you look at AJ, back in the day, he knocked Dillian out. Now, we know Dillian now is one of the best guys. So, it's kind of like, well, we should be now 6 years more experience, 6 years more knowledge and more strength. And instead, we've gone backwards. He's got less strength. Got less skills, got less emotional fortitude. And now we're sitting here, we've gone from, in my mind, one of the greatest prospects possible to debating if we can nick a 7-round versus 5-round fight against a cruiserweight. What is wrong with you, Johnston? What's that thinking about? Well, you know, I've only got to win 7 rounds and I've only got to win 6 rounds, and then maybe Eddie can get the judge to give me another one. That'd be 7. That's the kind of... He should be saying, listen, I'm embarrassed I allowed a cruiserweight. Yeah? You best believe this as well. If I was in the camp, Mr. Johnston would be sitting there now telling you, man, listen, I'm embarrassed that Rob McCrappen and myself allowed my weak mindset to justify allowing Tyson Fury and whatever other influences to impact my own personal life. And more than that, and moreover, I'm embarrassed I allowed a cruiserweight. Or I'm embarrassed I allowed my own self to justify boxing with a cruiserweight. Yeah? And in this rematch, I don't know about those 7 rounds, this guy getting it. And he's going to get it from the first round all the way through the 12th until he flops on the floor. Or he's going to prove he's a much harder man than me, and maybe I'll flop on the floor. Yeah? But in my mind, this fight, he going on the floor. Yeah? And it's simple as that. I'm coming out with a high guard and I'm walking straight forward. Let's see who takes the first back step. In fact, never mind, let's see who takes the first back step. I ain't taking it. The YBs train me. We ain't taking no back steps. We're going straight forward. Anthony Yardy style. Straight forward. And I've been saying this for the longest time. Someone explain to me why someone like Anthony Johnston needs to take a back step against a cruiserweight. Or even Tyson Fury. Explain why. Does he have better combinations? Do they have a better chin? You know what I'm saying? These are the kind of conversations you have to be having. Go back for what? In my mind, going back means you're conceding that he's stronger than you, he's more powerful, he's quicker, he's better than you at that. You should only go back if you believe that man's better than you at doing what you're doing. And that's why Mike Tyson rarely went back, because guess what? He knew he was the best at coming forward. So why would you concede that for? It doesn't make no sense to me. When you know you've got the best combination punching in the division, what you need to do is tighten up your defense so it's like Alvarez's, or it's like Josh Taylor's, nice and tight. Which means that, yeah, you still, and that's the thing, Alvarez still gets hit. That's part of the game, unfortunately. There's no way, people, even if you shit your pants every night, you're still going to get hit. Get over yourself. Or retire. Yeah? If you can't deal with that, if it's too emotionally, whatever, rattling, the idea of getting punched in the boxing match, retire then. Because everyone else accepts it. Josh Taylor, despite having great defense, got his eye bust. He accept that. Yeah? Alvarez gets hit. He accept it. It's part of the game. That's what the game is about. And Alvarez is a great example because in the first Golovkin fight, he kind of was a bit nervous. The second fight, he came out and doubled down on himself. And bet, despite being the smaller man, he bet on himself. And he was the one who ended up backing up Golovkin for the first time in history. Or the first time in, you know what I'm saying. That's what great men do. Great men don't bend and change to the whim of another man. Especially when they're half your size. It's madness, man. It's really embarrassing. And it's embarrassing that we're now 4 months later and exactly what I said was going to happen has happened. He's now justifying how he needs to nick a fight against Usyk. Oh, yeah, but me and my 20-man training team have worked out a strategy how we can go from winning 3 rounds to winning 7 rounds. Listen, Johnston, let me tell you this now. If I was in your camp here, I'd be telling you, there's nothing good to take away from that first fight. So just forget about that first fight. Yeah? Just sitting out here trying to do the maths about, well, you know, I won 3 rounds, so if we can just do what I did the first time and then add 4 more. What's wrong with you, man? That first fight sucked. And you ended up on the ropes, clinging on for dear life. Team Usyk saved you that night from going out cold. If Usyk had any more ambition, you'd have been out cold on your back. Let's not make out that you negotiated it and you're, oh, well, you know. No, you got saved by Usyk. Yeah? I think Eddie gave him a bonus. Oh, you know, you know what I'm saying? Oh, if you need knock Johnson out, I'll give you 5 mil not to knock him out. I think that's what happened, truth be known. It looked off to me. That fight sucked. As much as all the goofy people around you, like Fernando, listen, this thing, Bomb, you see. The reason we're still hearing AJ, talk about, oh, but I won 3 rounds and all I got to do is win 4 more next time. The reason you're hearing that is, guess what? That's coming from men. It's coming from the kept women in his camp, like Fernando Alonso, a.k.a. What's his name? Angel Fernandez. Angel Fernandez has to prove his relevance in the camp, yeah? Me personally, I've told you before, number 1, no win, no fee. Number 2, if my performance is off, I'm going to be the first one to say it. The first one. But these other guys, these kept woman looking asses, like Angel Fernandez, rather than coming out and saying, I was completely crap, yeah, bring someone in who knows what they're doing. Rather than do that, because they're leeches, they lock on and they play to little bits. So, for example, Fernando Alonso will have been telling AJ, oh yeah, well look, we did this well, and oh but look, if you look at the first 3 rounds, yeah, oh look at, oh we won this round, we won that round, look, see, look, we won round 1, you know what I'm saying, doing all that, 100%. Angel Fernandez will be sitting there telling AJ, yeah, but look, we won, look at round 5, 6, and 7. See, we did this, and all we got to do is, imagine if we could do that for a few more rounds, and all that kind of stuff. Because he's got to, oh look, yeah, but don't forget, yeah, we lost, but don't worry, it's all about the process, and life's about learning. All that kind of shit will be going in his ear, 100%. All that kind of shit will be going in his ear. Why? Because these parasites, they need to reinforce their relevance to his career. Yeah, they can't be honest and say, listen, I haven't got a clue what I'm doing, and you've gone backwards since I've been here. That's the truth. You've gone backwards since I've been here. And I'm telling you now, I guarantee you, if I was in the camp here and I had 2 years with Johnston and he went backwards, I'd remove myself. I promise you. But these other guys, he's clearly gone backwards. Scared of his own shadow. And these guys are telling him that, yeah, but the first 3 rounds was good. Oh, but don't worry, the 3 rounds was good. All we've got to do is find another 4 more like that. It was completely wrong. About I've only got to find 4 more. It was completely wrong. What's wrong with you? How are you talking about finding 4 more rounds after you ended up on the ropes in front of your home people? And for me, just like the Ruiz rematch, this is about more than just winning. This is about pride. This is about legacy. This is about ego. How are you content with just doing enough to beat this guy on the cards? Well, tell a lie. I know how you're contempt, because you was contempt after getting flopped on the floor by Mr. Big Bubbly. And you had no shame in running around away from a big pudgy dude. So I know you got no shame. But a man with shame would say, listen, I mean, look at Lennox Lewis. When Lennox Lewis got embarrassed, he went in there and he felt obliged. And that's what a true man does. A true man should feel obliged to pass that back on, especially when they have more than enough talent to do so. That's what I find so baffling. AJ has more than enough talent to go in there and make Usyk feel sorry for himself. But yeah, he don't want to, it's almost like he don't want to put himself out there. Oh, well, that might mean I might have to get hit. That mean I have to fight hard. That sounds a bit hard, YB. I think I'll stick with Fernando Alonso to blow sweet nothings in my ear and tell me it'll be okay. And tell me we can nick a few more rounds if we just run around some more. That's what he likes, and that's why I'm done with this guy. Because he wants to, like, for a while, well, I do hold the training team responsible, but ultimately, yeah, AJ's shrewd. He don't allow nothing to go on that he doesn't want to go on. He likes hanging around with funny style, fruity tooty dudes. Yeah, he likes that. He don't like hanging around with certified individuals to put him in his place. He likes being told. He likes someone to give him a nice neck massage in the middle of the night. All that kind of funny style. That's what's been proven here. He wants to be told, don't worry, it'll all be okay. He doesn't want to deal with the reality that this game at this level is hard. Yeah? This game at this level, you're going to get hit. You're probably going to go down. And that's why I've gained more respect for Tyson Fury, because really, the only one so far who really living it like that is Tyson Fury. In the ring. Now, outside of the ring, he's more than imperfect, but in the ring, he says, I'm going to go in there, have a fight. If I go down, I get up. Who else doing that? Johnston then. Johnston's running away to do anything not to get hit. It's embarrassing. Yeah? So here we are. Johnston, is going to go in there and he's going to run around for his life. That's what's most likely going to happen on the basis of this interview. And he's still in that denial mode. He's still justifying it. Oh, it wasn't that bad. I won 3 rounds. I've only got to find 4 more. He's barking completely at the wrong tree. All these yes men around him. I mean, even Eddie Hearn the other day got a bit mad and said, listen, all that fanning around crap. Everyone can more or less see it now, apart from Johnston, because his circle, they need him like parasites. Yeah, Anthony Johnston is their host. They can't be honest. They have to reinforce whatever he says goes. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. We only have to find 4 more rounds, Johnston. We definitely don't need a whole overhaul. You're right. There is a way to beat Usyk without having to walk through the fire.